We're today bringing you news of one of the yummiest acquisition of this season. And to take this conversation forward, I have with me India's most acclaimed and one of India's favorite chefs, whose claim to fame was, of course, Goila Butter Chicken, that also took him to the sets of MasterChef Australia. Saransh, many thanks for joining us today.
No, thank you first of all for such a lovely introduction, and thank you for having me over. It's definitely a special moment for us.
So I'd like to dig right in and talk about this particular acquisition. I understand that 2022 was the time when you did some sort of synergy with Biryani by Kilo as well.
Yeah.
But from that, how has it turned out to this 70% acquisition, and details of it, if you could tell us?
Yeah, absolutely. So of course it's not too far from us, but we were all hit by a pandemic in 2020. And I think that changed the rules of the hospitality industry. The way we look at restaurants, the way we look at cloud kitchens, the way we look at quick service restaurants, it all sort of changed because we realized that the right way to move ahead is collaboration. And that's where we met Vishal, who's one of the co-founders of Biryani by Kilo. I in fact met him at a panel where we were both discussing about cloud kitchens. He was talking about scale and I was talking about leading a product as a chef. So we both had like polarizing different views of the same business, and we were sitting in the same room. And he said, you know what, I would love to chat more about what does Goila Butter Chicken do offline of this meeting. So he came to Mumbai, we showed him our kitchens, he tasted our butter chicken, and he said, you know, we have so much space in our kitchens because we sell biryani in and out. 90% of our business is all biryanis. And our tandoor and curry range is not used to its maximum potential. So would you guys want to explore where we do 8 or 10 pilot kitchens where Goila Butter Chicken uses the Biryani by Kilo setup? And when we started that conversation, we realized that we started plugging in different teams. Where Goila Butter Chicken, we would hire teams like we did in Bangalore, Mumbai. We ran a pilot of five kitchens in both the cities, where we hired staff, where we trained them, and we plugged them into the Biryani by Kilo kitchens. And we started operating and using their setup, their resources to run the brand. We ran that for about 12 months, and we realized it was extremely successful because the investment size of per kitchen reduced from 25 or 30 lakhs to about 5 to 8 lakhs, depending on the location that we were in. So we were spending only 30% of our budgets on scaling, and we were able to devote the other budget that we had to more marketing, to be able to scale the brand, to give it some arms and legs in a newer market where we weren't as popular as we were in Mumbai. When we saw the numbers after 12 months, we realized that this marriage is looking, this needs to be a marriage.
Yeah.
You know how you do in some families you do a roka and you do a little engagement, or you do ring ceremony. It almost felt like that. It was a proper marriage of two brands. And of course, Biryani by Kilo is much larger than us as a company. They are very well funded. They already have 105 or 106 kitchen footprint. They have a fabulous product, and their kitchens were stunning. I was amazed with the quality of food they were serving from their kitchens. So yeah, so this year in March in 2024, we decided to make it official. 71% is what Biryani by Kilo acquired in sort of Goila Butter Chicken. And as a part of that deal, we went from 10 stores to 100 kitchens in the last 18 months. So all the investment, which was, as I said, 5 to 8 lakhs, was spent on growing the brand. So let's say upwards of 8 or 10 crores was spent in growing the brand from a 10 store footprint to a 100 store footprint. Our revenue before we met Biryani by Kilo was 50 lakhs per month as a brand. And as of last month, we are touching almost 5 crores month on month. So we've seen a jump that you just read in stories of,
Multi-fold
or
growth,
you
yeah.
land up on news channels and you hear about these stories. So it is.
You've not given me an opportunity to ask you anything, but I'm still going to touch upon
Fair.
a certain question that comes to my mind at this point is that, of course, Biryani by Kilo now has 70% and you will function also
Yeah.
at 30% or
Yes.
so. But how does the structure change and your role, both of you co-founders
Yes.
plus Biryani by Kilo, if you could throw some light on that.
Absolutely. So Vivek and me, both of us are chefs, and none of us were actually operators or from a financial background or from a business background. So we started this brand from the love of food, and now it's graduated into something where both of us realized that we also need some business acumen. We became entrepreneurs. So our roles had reversed in the last few years, where I continued to be a chef and a marketer of sorts for the brand, but Vivek started handling operations and finances and giving a structure to the company. In those ways, it remains the same as we join Biryani by Kilo. We see major changes in terms of investment, which means all the investment calls will be made by Biryani by Kilo. We jointly sort of decide where do we go, territory, where the new stores are going to, the rollout plan for this year. So those decisions are made sort of. We do these monthly meetings and we take a call jointly. And also that it's a beautiful marriage because Vishal ji and Mr. Kaushik, both of them who are founders of Biryani by Kilo, they feel like big brothers because they are also elders to us in terms of experience in the industry. They have spent more time than Vivek and me in the hospitality arena. So it's helped us. I feel like I'm doing a crash MBA as I grow with this brand. But yes, I think roles remain the same. We might be only 30% stakeholders now, and we might not be majority stakeholders. But my job as a chef hasn't changed much, which means when we went from 10th store to the 100th store, I still had to work on a new menu, which was seasonal. I still had to be a part of the training exercise. I still market the brand in the 40 cities that we have reached. So roles pretty much remain the same. Yes, responsibility has increased because now you're answerable to more people. You're answerable to investors. You're answerable to founders of Biryani by Kilo, and you're playing with bigger numbers. If I had to call it a game, it's a bigger game, and you have to keep at it. So I think that's the only change. Pressure might be slightly more, but responsibility remains the same.
And you rightly mentioned, and I believe it's sort of a marriage between your passion and their scale and strategy. Going forward from here, since this acquisition has happened, what is the store expansion that you're looking at across India?
So because we have taken 18 months to go from a 10 store mark to a 100 store mark, this year for the next 6 months, our plan is upkeep of those stores. Make sure that these 100 stores get their consistency right. Because we literally mushroomed every week. In the last 70 weeks or 80 weeks, we've opened 100 stores. So we've almost opened 1.5 stores every week in a way. Now the idea is to do upkeep, to check where we are going wrong. Also, when you scale up from cities like Mumbai, Bangalore, Delhi to 2-tier and 3-tier cities. For instance, now we are in Guwahati. It's very interesting. We are serving butter chicken to people in Northeast. I want to see how that plays out for us. So we are going to review this over the next 6 months. Which territory is working well for us? What changes do we need to make? Do we need to go? Do we need to treat North, East, West, South differently? Currently, we have replicated the same format everywhere, and that is the beauty of the cloud kitchen model. If you want to make changes, it's slightly easier than a restaurant, I would say. But yes, when you have to make pan-India changes, it's very difficult. But we are looking at a 200 store mark by the year 2026. So we would be looking at opening another 100 stores over the next 24 months.
So it'll be largely tier 1 and metro cities, or
So no, we will penetrate further. We will go further down in tier 2 and tier 3. I think large cities we already have a heavy footprint because we have 20 stores in Delhi. We have about 6 or 7 in Mumbai, and we feel we can increase our footprint here. But it's going to be more deeper penetration into India, and we are looking at Middle East We are looking at more stores in London. We already have a franchise there. So we want to grow in that territory. And my personal wish is to go to Australia and take the brand there.
Of course, of course. It would be a full circle
Full
for you
circle,
in
yeah.
terms of MasterChef Australia and then your store also there. Will we see anything more added to the menu also going
Absolutely.
forward?
I think
And what can we expect?
because see, it's Goila's butter chicken as of now, but trends in the world of food keep changing. And any brand is only relevant if you keep up with those trends. For instance, I see vegetarianism and people eating a lot of mock meats, people eating alternate meats, people caring more about the environment. So we will adapt to all of this that comes our way. As a brand that's going to be big in scale, we have to be sustainable. For instance, last year we moved away from full plastic packaging to paper packaging. So we will make those kind of changes on our menu. We will make sure that we keep up with the times. As I said, we want to really do more regional and seasonal stuff on our menus. We want to find opportunities to showcase cuisines of India and chefs of India who might not otherwise get this scale. We would look at doing the same thing that Biryani by Kilo did to us, which means Goila is a curry brand, in and out. And if somebody wants to serve a curry from Bengal or somebody wants to serve a curry from Mangalore, I'm just dropping names of cities, we would want to give them that opportunity. A chef special, maybe.
But anything on the table as of yet in terms of discussions, what else you could explore in terms of cuisines?
So what we've done is, as with this 100 kitchen mark, we've announced a new menu already, which is going live this week as we speak. We have curated, we've made a menu mix where we were 70% non-vegetarian and 30% vegetarian. Now we are 50-50, which means we've included about 9 vegetarian dishes on our menu this week. We are doing some very cool stuff. I went to Amritsar where I met Chef Vikas Khanna on my last trip, and he took me to his favorite shops across the city. And taking inspiration from that, we've curated some Amritsari chole and kulche from Amritsar, but it's very classic and it's pretty authentic and traditional, as close as we can get to it. So we have dishes like those that we've included on a menu now, and we are planning to introduce 2 different kind of biryanis, which will, I think, be on by mid-July in Kolkata and in Hyderabad, because those cities treat their rice differently, and we want to cater to that audience and see how these new dishes do there.
You know, India, when we talk about the Indian consumer, lately the trend has been price sensitive. Premiumization has been the trend.
Yeah.
People have focused more on luxury, but those who are from the working class, middle income group, that has been spending a lot lesser. And even footfalls to restaurants have reduced if you talk about malls also. So that kind of impact, will you be looking at just the premium side of things in terms of pricing going forward, or also, you know, something on the affordable side?
I think that's a great question, because as a brand that's growing, some formulas work till a certain extent. Like we were a premium North Indian delivery brand until we were at 10 store mark. Now we're at a 100 store mark. We also want to reach out to more people. We want more people to try our butter chicken or our butter paneer.
Especially tier 2 cities.
Absolutely. So we have to be in tune with our customers. We have to give them a price point which they feel comfortable trying from the brand. So what we've done is we've divided our menu into 2 sections, lunch and dinner, which is pretty classic. So we've introduced a lunch menu that caters specifically to a office going audience or a person who's craving a home cooked meal for lunch but can't cook, or is a working professional. And if a person was spending on an average 500 to 600 rupees per order with Goila Butter Chicken on any delivery app, at the lunch hour you will spend 250 to 300 and you will have a decent sized meal, and it will be pretty fulfilling at the same time. So we've realized that we need to attract that audience as well, and we need to give them more lucrative options. Maybe some people don't want to order a large portion. So we've been working on a lot of single people meals. We've been working on a lot of curations where even 2 people can order in, not a 6-piece snack, for instance. You can order a 3-piece snack. So you can order in as much as you like. Sort of a formula is what we've been applying, and I think that's helped us relate to our customer more in terms of pricing.
Well, let's give you a break from the business and the numbers. On a personal level, and that was something I was really curious to understand from you. You know, Goila's butter chicken was kind of your baby, and you brought it up all these years. It's been 8 years, and you are celebrating the 8th anniversary.
Yeah.
How did you have the heart to
Oh
get
yeah,
it, give it
that
to
is.
someone else, like 70% of it going away to someone else? How does it feel?
You will always, you will never. I still ask myself that question. I think there are no right or wrong answers there, and I don't think so. I will ever be fully convinced about the decision I made, because when you, as you said, it's your baby. You gave birth to something which will live on in this world probably longer than I do, and I think that's the only reason that I thought that this deserves a place in the universe where it can grow and blossom more than I can do it. I think any brand that becomes legendary or iconic, whether it's one store, one kitchen, or hundreds of kitchens, is usually the people, because the person who started will ultimately either get old or will get bored or will move on and do something in their lives, because an artist is an artist. It's difficult to control an artist or a talent, right? And I feel like this brand deserves that. It deserves a large team, it deserves scale. It's a beautiful product, and if somebody can help me take it from 10 kitchens to thousands of kitchens someday, so it'll be selfish of me to hold on that beautiful butter chicken to just myself. And the intent was always to spread this butter chicken in the world. The recipe exists online, anyone can cook it, but the fact that we have still been able to grow it from where we are to where we go today, where we go tomorrow, I think I'm okay. It also reminds me that nothing is permanent. And as a chef, my job is to keep creating, keep curating new dishes, and yeah, it's bittersweet, but the brand gets its full wings, and hopefully I get a solid exit as well.
If you could talk about the exit of 70% and the acquisition figure,
Yeah.
where does it stand?
So where it stands is that in typically what happens with these acquisitions is your exit depends on the kind of business you do, which means there are numbers attached to our exits. If I do 5 crores month on month, the brand does, then the founders get a certain amount of exit. If you do, there are benchmarks for us. For instance, our goal is hopefully by the end of the year, because we have 100 stores, we want to touch a monthly ARR of, let's say, 8.5 CR. If we're able to touch that, that gives me an exit that I'll be happy about, versus if I am stuck at doing 5 or 6 years. So it's all performance based, is if I have to put it out pretty cleanly, and I think it's fair, because you only for the 70% we've sold, we've got two things out of it. We've got a certain amount of capital that the founders get to for the brand they built, but most of the money is spent in seeding the brand, which was about 10 to 12 crores in building it from 10 to 100 kitchens. Now the rest of the money that will be spent will be on marketing it, on growing it. So yeah, so it's pretty streamlined in that sense. Our goals are that we are hoping to achieve about 80 to 100 crores in year 1. We are hoping to achieve about 150 crores in year 2, and we are hoping to achieve 200 crores in year 3, which is where Biryani by Kilo is already currently. Biryani by Kilo does about 180 to 200 crores year on year, and that's where we would want to be in 3 years.
Will you also be looking at some sort of tweak in formats going forward?
Absolutely. We are exploring highways for kiosks. We are exploring airports for having some butter chicken shops there. We would also explore some restaurant formats, not too many, because running a restaurant can be cumbersome. But in metro cities like Mumbai, Delhi, Bangalore, we might look at large formatted restaurants. So yeah, so we are going to diversify from just being a cloud kitchen company.
Finally, stepping aside from your entrepreneur role, I want to ask Chef Saransh, what is the next big thing he's concocting after Goila Butter Chicken?
Oh, I think so. I have no time. I think I'm spending a lot of time growing this brand. But I have been working really hard on building my content universe when it comes to food. And that is something that I've become very passionate about. I think the project that I'm very passionately working on right now is to make a food show. Which is going to be hopefully a 6 to 8 part series on an OTT platform. That's what I'm building and working towards. That's my big project where I want to tell stories of food people in India, but slightly more romantically. And that's what I'm working on next.
Well, thank you so much. It was a delight speaking to you, and I hope to taste
Of course,
all the new dishes that you
it's a feast
concoct
today.
going
It's
forward.
a celebration.
I'm excited. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you.